Hi, Ed and Robert. Great to see you both. I know that obviously we are in different times here as far as sports production and I guess all TV video production. But from what I'm going to gather, I'm going to guess that Arista is pretty busy because it seems like one thing is consistent, which is people still need a lot of connectivity, if not probably more than ever. So, Robert, do you want to kind of give a little bit of an overview of what you guys have been up to the last few weeks and what kind of demand you're seeing?
Yeah, so demand is high. What's funny is we thought that we are going to have some time off, whatever that means, during this, work at home type of thing. But what we're finding is that most productions are actually doing the work at home anyway. They have deadlines. Everybody has deadlines. In fact, they have shorter deadlines because they're trying to figure out how to do this remotely. So we're seeing a lot of new post-production and also some visualization techniques that are coming out. Everybody's using virtual desktop. Everybody's trying to figure out how to do animation, at home. Everybody's trying to figure out how to collaborate at home. So what we've been coming up with is new ways to do that. So it's not just the solution to work at home, but how to be productive as well. What we found out, quite frankly, was the Arista solution sets allowed them to do things better, quicker, better, faster, if you will, and cheaper in a lot of cases than other production companies. So they were ready. Those that took that move to get away from baseband to IP were completely ready. So for example, we were working with a couple of OB trucks just to do some sports production type of things remotely. And now they're able to do things which are different than before. We're finding a lot of more e-gaming and over-the-top types of solutions, collaboration with e-gaming. So the remote is the key. And as I saw personally with my ISP connection, it's not just about the ISP connection, it's about the reliability too. I had to unfortunately change from one ISP to another ISP because we were just too slow.
Right.
What we're finding is that those people that, and hopefully Ken, you didn't run into this,
Okay.
is if you're ready for IP and you've made that jump, you're ready for the next generation for UHD, but as well as remote production. So a lot of activity going on.
Right. So Ed, from your standpoint, what have you been seeing in the marketplace out there?
Marketplace-wise, we're seeing everything from cartoon production to post-production, to rendering to CGI, to even what's that next generation video going to look like? Is it going to be a short form? How are we going to get people together? Are we going to animate people? So we're going to take basically a 3D rendering of you and then animate that in. So what we're allowing for people to do is for that fast rendering, if you will, because I want to see what that looks like as a director, production artist. I want to make sure that everything kind of works together. So Arista from our platforms are enabling that. We have, of course, the 10 gig and the 25 gig, 100 gig, things like that. But that 400 gig backbone we're finding is more and more palatable because it's all about the storage. It's all about the rendering. It's all about time to market. And it's all about the pre-visualization too. Imagine this, you want to see what this is going to look like in this new paradigm of, that we're having to work in. How fast can I turn that around and play around with things? So that ability to have those quick ideas and turnaround, it makes all the difference in the world.
Right. So as far as, obviously the picture behind you looks like a trade show. I believe that looks like an NAB trade show. So I want to kind of bring Ed into this. Ed, from your standpoint, what are some of the new features and what have you that's kind of been in the works?
Well, I think, to go back to what Robert was saying, a lot of our customers who have decided to go to IP broadcast infrastructure, SMPTE 2110, are ahead of the curve in regards to being able to leverage, this new, 100 gig, 400 gig infrastructure on the back end. In fact, we've even seen some reports from SVG around the OB trucks that Robert mentioned, that they actually did complete production of those. SVG Europe actually had a great article about that, using a 100 gig Arista core. So I think you take away the trade shows, because unfortunately the trade shows aren't happening right now. We're doing the virtual events like everybody else, and I think that's reaching out to our constituents in the broadcast industry. But for us, we're seeing a lot of customers, whether they're sports or broadcasts, they are actively going out, and it is a good time for them to actually do some work in building out either production trucks or doing other things where maybe they didn't have the time to do it because of actual events. So that is a good thing. Now, the challenging environment for everybody right now is the fact that, once you build out the trucks or you build out facilities for remote production and stuff, is actually having something to produce. So
Right.
that is a challenge. I think we're all waiting for a lot of the sporting events to open up. I think we've seen some indications from different countries where they have started to do this, but certainly the major sports events in the Americas or in Europe haven't started up yet. But with the opening up the economies, and I think some interesting decisions that are happening, hopefully we start to see the opening up of these sporting events. And quite frankly, what I think they're going to look like is they're going to have no audience at the events, but it's all going to be done via broadcast infrastructure. So
Right.
that is actually something that is new and exciting, and potentially could be, is this the new norm? I
Right.
don't think so, but
Right.
it's certainly some way that people are going to move forward.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I know.
Can I add to that real quick?
Sure.
The other thing that people are taking time to do is reinvest in themselves, whereas if you're not flying around, so we're finding a lot of time is being spent now just to reinvest in, hey, I need to learn about IP. I'm a broadcast engineer of 30 years. I'm kind of scared of this new stuff, and we're helping people bridge that gap, going from what I call from zero to hero within, a matter of a day, and helping them understand what it is that the new paradigm is and the new workflows are.
Gotcha.
In a compassionate kind of way, and hands-on too.
Right, sure. So let's talk about, obviously there's, as they call them, dumb pipes, but there is a need to really kind of understand what's going on with the traffic. Can you talk about CloudVision and sort of what that brings to the table as far as data analytics for people who are riding on these dumb pipes?
Ed, you want to take that? You want me to start?
Why don't you go ahead and start, and then I'll they're not really dumb pipes, but I'll let you talk first.
So this is what I call the, sorry, I'm not supposed to be touching my face. Yeah, there you go, a violation. Now I got to go wash my hands 30 times. So we call it the information knowledge wisdom tree. You need to get the information in there. It's one thing to poll like we've been doing since the 1970s or 80s, S&P polling. But it's another thing to have streaming media. I need to get the information that I need to have about this particular video, this particular flow, who's accessing the network security-wise right now. Not 10 minutes ago, literally right now. So we built this tool called CloudVision. Now that gives you your provisioning configuration, it gives you your real-time analytics, it gives you whether PTP is working consistently, it gives you all the tools that you need at your fingertips in the way that you don't have to be a CCIE or a CCNA or even know about the network. All you need to be able to do is visualize the information or know what the right questions to ask are. And if you don't know what the right questions to ask are, we have an event functionality so we can tell you what normal is and what abnormal is. So that's kind of what CloudVision is from a high level perspective.
Gotcha. Good.
And I think, Ken, this is something that really lends itself to a broadcast or a media entertainment environment. Because you do get all the visibility, you get a drawn topology map. You understand where the cameras are located. You understand where the playback equipment is located. You get a visual depiction of the PTP infrastructure that's in there. So as a broadcast engineer, you don't need to go in and get into what in the IP industry we call command line interface. You actually get a graphical viewpoint of what's happening in that environment. And it's a very rich environment in terms of the telemetry that we're depicting. And from a telemetry perspective, it really provides information that's relevant to a broadcast infrastructure. So we talked about PTP. It brings up something called multicast, which is a very, very key component of SMPTE 2110 infrastructure. And it draws out a topology so you absolutely understand what's going on. And it's very similar to what a lot of broadcast engineers had in an SD environment, right? So I think the goal here is to make the IP environment as visual and drawing out that topology map and giving the viewpoint to a broadcast engineer similar to what they had in the past, but still giving them all the control that they were used to. So that's what CloudVision does in a media entertainment specific environment. And it does a lot of other things if you have a data center or a campus and a lot of other things from a standard IP infrastructure perspective. But from a broadcast perspective, it gives all the tools and provides all the tools that a broadcast engineer has leveraged in the past. And we've got some great partners who also tie into it from an API perspective. Robert, maybe you want to talk a little bit about that as well.
It's tremendous. So we use a lot of common APIs that are out there, like OpenConfig, OpenFlow functionality, things like that. So we want to open it up, not just for CloudVision itself. It's that ability to get information in the way that you want it. For example, we have a partnership with Lawwo, and they have their smart tool. They gather information, and they say, basically, on this particular PIP, here's the flow information for it, okay? Or the Tektronix, or Telestream now, Prism. They look at the multicast flow that's going on, or Skyline Data Miner. They'll look at real-time analytics and bring that to you. Or if you're changing a particular flow, what's happening to that flow as you change it? So it's not only just a CloudVision, but it's that openness that we have from a ground up, from our EOS operating system.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, because we work with, and I'm hopefully if I leave out one of our partners, they don't get upset, but we work with Grass Valley, we work with Lawwo, we work with Nevion, Rydell Embryonics,
EFE, Imagine, there's EVS, there's
A lot.
A lot. Let's just say a lot. And part of that is that API infrastructure that we get out of CloudVision and our operating system. And this is why we've had so much success in sports entertainment. I mean, I apologize, I forget the award we're up for, but we're up for an award by SVG. With the work that we did with SVT and the FIS World, I'm not going to say World, right. FIS Skiing.
Our European Sport Production Awards.
European, exactly.
Yes.
So with Grass Valley and stuff, and that's just one of many that we've already done. I mean, we could name a large amount of events that we've already participated in. Some are public, some are not. Recently with Game Creek, I think this was another SVG article as well. That truck was using Arista infrastructure for a large sporting event in the U.S. that had a championship game and then a big bowl game afterwards, a professional event that was part of that. So the reality is that people are utilizing IP in production sporting events right now, and the beautiful thing is it's working. On some of the biggest events in the world from a sporting perspective, and we're actually not having any issues. No one is, it's just working. So it's, as we get these wins behind us, more and more customers are understanding that IP is absolutely the way to move forward. And their ability to go from HD to UHD with the same infrastructure is a beautiful thing, because they couldn't do that before.
Right. Exactly.
Well, we go back to like Euro 2016. I mean, we probably have the most installations of anybody, and we actually help people bring their solutions together. So the first thing we talk about is, do you have a Dante, an Audinate type of network, or what type of audio and video do you do? We talk about workflows first, and then we help them bring that together, and even bring the partners together. What are the right partners to work with?
Sure, great. Well, thanks, Ed. Thanks, Robert. That's a great overview. Yeah, that SVT project was amazing. One of the more impressive accomplishments of the last year. Hopefully, we'll be doing that again soon in the winter of 2021 with a little bit of luck somewhere. But thanks again for everything, and talk to you all soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.